The rain had been falling since midnight, drumming against the thin windows of the small rental house where Adam Hale lived with his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Money was tight, sleep was rare, and peace was almost non-existent. But he had learned to function on low battery long ago. Being a single dad meant showing up even when exhausted. When the clock flashed 2:04 a.m., he was still awake, ironing Lily's school uniform because the dryer had died days ago. That was when his old phone vibrated on the counter. He frowned. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but he couldn't shake the instinct that came from years of volunteering as a local search and rescue responder before his life fell apart. He pressed accept, but the voice that hit him was raw, trembling, choked with panic. Help. Please, there's been a mistake. I didn't mean to call this number. I'm sorry, but my car, it's sliding. Oh God, someone please. Static, a scream, a crash, then silence. Adam froze, staring into the darkness, listening for any sign she was still on the line. Hello? Hey, stay with me. Where are you? He demanded. But the call had cut. Most people would have shrugged. Wrong number. Unrelated life. Not his problem. But Adam wasn't most people. And something in the voice, something desperate, terrified, breaking, lodged itself in the part of him that could never ignore a cry for help, especially not from someone who sounded like they were alone on a mountain road in the middle of a landslide warning. He grabbed his jacket, checked on Lily, tucked an extra blanket around her, and left a note on the table. Be right back. I promise. He had no reason to believe he'd find the caller. No location, no name. Nothing but instinct. Yet he drove out into the storm. The mountain road was slick with mud and falling debris, the kind of night that swallowed headlights and made every turn a gamble. Trees creaked overhead like they were deciding which one should fall next. Adam kept one hand tight on the wheel, the other on the radio as he scanned for emergency chatter. Nothing. Whoever she was, she hadn't called 911. She had dialed him by accident, and yet he felt an urgency sharper than logic. Near the ridge, he spotted it, a flash of white against the darkness, tilted dangerously over the edge of the embankment. A luxury SUV. Expensive, clean, definitely out of place on a night like this. Adam braked hard and jumped out. Rain slapped him sideways as he approached the car, mud sucking at his boots. The ground trembled beneath him, a warning that the landslide hadn't finished claiming victims. Hey, he shouted, pounding on the window. Can you hear me? A faint movement. A woman lifted her head from the steering wheel, her face streaked with rain, tears, and fear. Her voice was barely more than a whisper. I didn't think anyone would come. Her seatbelt was jammed, the driver's side crushed inward from a fallen branch. The car groaned under its own weight. We don't have much time, Adam told her. What's your name? She swallowed hard. Elena. Her voice held authority even when shaking. Her outfit, soaked silk blouse, tailored coat, suggested power, money, a life so far from his that they might as well have been born in different worlds. But right now she was just a terrified human. Okay, Elena, I'm Adam. I'm going to get you out. You shouldn't be here, she whispered. I called the wrong number. I didn't mean to drag anyone into this. Doesn't matter. You needed help. He wedged his shoulder under the door handle and pulled. It didn't budge. The ground shuddered again. A rock tumbled past him and disappeared into the abyss. The SUV tilted another inch toward the edge. Elena's breath hitched. Adam. I know, he said. Don't look down. He grabbed the emergency tool from his truck, smashed the window, and reached inside. Shards of glass glittered in the rain like ice. He cut the jammed seatbelt. The moment her restraint loosened, the SUV groaned and slid half a foot. Adam's heart lurched. Elena gasped. Come on, he urged. You're climbing to me. I can't move, she whispered, frozen by fear. Yes, you can. I'm right here. I've got you. For reasons she didn't understand, she believed him. He reached in, got one arm under hers, and carefully pulled her through the broken window. The car shifted again, tires skidding in the mud. He didn't have time to think. He pulled her free just as the entire SUV lurched violently and began its descent down the slope. A deafening crash echoed through the valley. Elena clung to him, trembling uncontrollably. You saved my life, she whispered. But Adam shook his head. Just did what anyone would do. Her eyes lifted to his, storm-lit, searching. No, nobody else would have shown up for a stranger at 2 a.m. They hurried toward his truck, the ground softening with every step as the landslide ate the hillside behind them. When they finally reached the vehicle and slammed the doors shut, they sat in silence, listening to their rapid breathing mingle with the drumming rain. Elena stared at him, confusion and gratitude warring in her expression. Why would you come out for a call that wasn't meant for you? Adam rubbed a hand over his tired face. Because someone was scared. Because once, a long time ago, I wished someone had come for me when I needed it. Elena didn't know what that meant, but she felt the weight behind it. He drove her down the mountain slowly, carefully watching for collapsing ground. Her phone had been crushed in the accident, but she was oddly relieved. For the first time in years, she wasn't the one in control, giving orders, planning outcomes. She felt human, vulnerable, safe. Where do you live? Adam asked. She hesitated. I'd rather not go home yet. He glanced at her. Hospital? No, just somewhere. Not alone. He nodded slowly. My place is nothing fancy, but it's warm. And you can call whoever you need. Her lips parted at the unexpected gentleness. Thank you. When they reached his small house, Lily was still asleep on the couch, stuffed rabbit tucked under her chin. Elena's breath caught. She's beautiful. Adam smiled softly. She's my entire world. Lily stirred awake and blinked. Daddy? Hey, Bug. I'm here. But her eyes widened when she saw Elena, soaked, shivering, elegant despite the chaos. Who's she? I'm Elena, the woman said gently. Your dad saved me tonight? Lily nodded as if that was normal. Daddy saves lots of people. Adam flushed. Elena looked at him with new eyes. He gave Elena a clean towel, one of Lily's spare sweatshirts, and started hot water for tea. She wrapped the small sweatshirt around herself. And for the first time she laughed. It was too small, but the gesture warmed her more than anything. You're really kind, she said quietly, watching him move around the kitchen. Just trying to help. Most people in my world don't help unless there's something in it for them. Adam shrugged. Then maybe you're in the wrong world. That line hit her deeper than she expected. When dawn approached, the rain finally eased, leaving the world washed clean and fragile. Rescue teams and police swarmed the mountain road. Elena gave her statement, but everyone was focused on Adam. You pulled her out before the SUV went over. You navigated the ridge in a storm with no visibility. You did this alone. Adam shrugged off the attention. Just did what needed to be done. But Elena watched him with a softness she hadn't felt in years. Not admiration for his bravery, something deeper, something unfamiliar. When the police left, she turned to him. I need to tell you something. He raised an eyebrow. I'm not just... Elena, she exhaled shakily. I'm Elena Ward. Adam blinked. The name clicked instantly. Ward Industries, CEO, billionaire. She wasn't just someone from another world, she practically owned that world. He stared, stunned. The Elena Ward? And you were driving alone at 2 a.m.? I had just left a board meeting. It turned ugly. I needed space. He didn't judge her. He didn't treat her differently. She stepped closer. You didn't know who I was, and you still came for me. I didn't need to know, he replied simply. A person in danger is a person in danger. Her throat tightened. No one had looked at her as a person in a long time. Only as power. That call wasn't wrong, she whispered. It was fate. Lily tugged at Elena's sleeve. Do you want pancakes? Daddy makes the best ones. Adam shook his head, embarrassed. But Elena smiled, genuinely. I'd love some. They ate breakfast together, laughter slowly filling the small kitchen. Elena felt something loosen in her chest, a tension she'd carried for years dissolving, in the presence of a man who expected nothing from her. When it was finally time for her to leave, she hesitated at the door. Adam, I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to. But I want to. Her voice softened. Will you let me see you again? He glanced at Lily, then back at her. If you want to. I do. She paused, emotion flickering through her eyes. Not as a CEO, as the woman you saved. He nodded slowly. Then yeah, I'd like that. She touched his hand, lightly, almost afraid he'd pull away. But he didn't. As she walked toward the sleek car that had arrived to pick her up, she turned back one last time and whispered across the distance. That night, you didn't just save my life. You saved something inside me. Adam stood in the doorway watching her disappear into the morning light, unaware that this was only the beginning of a story that had started with a wrong call and ended with two lives forever changed. Because sometimes fate doesn't knock. Sometimes it calls the wrong number at 2 a.m. and the right person answers.